cat in the wall, eh? Okay, now you're talking my language.
Do you ever drunk Baileys from a shoe?
Oh, great. Thanks, Mother, for replacing the baby aspirin with LSD.
How much you want to make a bet I can throw a football over the mountain?
Welcome to a very nipply version of the View from C-Deck. I mean, NBA version of the View from C-Deck. I'm just Matt, and this is the Haas. You should like, subscribe to our channel. We're mostly Buckeye-centric podcast, but we love talking NBA, and the season just ended, and it's time for the playoffs. Best time of the year. Best basketball you're going to see is NBA playoff basketball, bar none. Don't even try to talk to me about this college basketball bull crap where people shoot 40% from the floor. And it's going to be an exciting MVP race, too. We're going to talk about that later. But since we're based in Ohio here, I got to talk to my man who went to the Cavs season finale. How you feeling, Jason? Coming into the playoffs here, the number one overall seed. They've had the best record. They've been an excellent team, especially offensively all season. Starting five is about as nasty as it gets. And Boston's a little bit banged up right now. Jaylen Brown's getting injections in his knee. So how do you feel about the Cavs' chances at the championship this year?
Better than what I did a month ago when we kind of did our projections and stuff. Just because I think we were kind of meshing well. DeAndre Hunter and Max Strus have been kind of they've been kind of figuring out their rules a little bit more as they've been playing more. But man, well, I like the matchups too in the first round. I'm projecting that we're probably gonna be playing the Heat. I think the Heat are probably gonna end up with the 8th seed, and I think they're gonna play the Magic. The Celtics will probably play the Magic. I think there's the 7th seed, if I remember that correctly. If they everybody kind of wins. But I'm not high on the Bulls, and I don't want to play the Hawks. If the Cavs get stuck with the Hawks, I don't think we'll lose to them, but Trae Young's capable of winning a game or two by himself. Yes. But I don't want to play the Magic. That's the big bugaboo. But I don't think the Celtics or the Cavs. That's not a good matchup in round one. So hopefully the Magic gets stuck with the Celtics and grinds them out to like 6 games or so. But yeah, I like the Cavs' chances here. But the East did this last month. The East felt like it got it rounded out kind of nicely. That the Pacers kind of came into form. The Knicks kind of figured out their grooves. Brunson got healthy, and then the freaking Pistons came out of nowhere. I don't think it's the. I still think the Celtics and Cavs are head and shoulders above those teams, but it did get a little bit tougher, I think, for both of these top teams in the East.
Yeah, especially you guys haven't won yet. The Cavs have not won. This group of guys haven't won anything. I think Donovan's been to the second round before, but all in all, you guys haven't really won anything. So getting past like a Pacers team who went to the Eastern Conference Finals last year and are probably better this year because Halliburton's been playing much. I mean, he did fall down a little bit about the stretch.
Mathurin's healthy, yeah.
But he had a month stretch there. Halliburton did, where he was maybe the best player in the league.
Yeah.
He was in fantasy. He was number one player in fantasy for about a month straight there in March. So it won't be easy. You're right though. Everybody started to play better ball, and the Bucks started to play better without Dame. If they get Dame back and he can get into the groove fast enough, they could. I'm telling you, that's a tough matchup because Giannis will be the best player on the floor. I still like the Celtics if they're healthy, but man, if Jaylen Brown is not healthy, that really, really, being one of their best two-way players, especially, they can probably withstand it to make it to the finals because I think they're just a matchup nightmare for the Knicks. Knicks aren't good enough defensively,
yeah,
and they're starting to wear down too because Tibbs is Tibbs and played everybody too much this year as always. I think there's a matchup for them. I think you don't want to play the Hawks. And the Hawks play Orlando first in the 7-8 game. I think you want the Hawks to pull that upset. I'd rather play Orlando just because I don't think they have the offense a consistent enough offense to go to beat any of the top teams. But they could beat you up because they're tough defensively.
Yeah, they took us to 7 games last year, so they have that hope. That's why I don't want to play the Magic because they've been there, done that, and the Cavs are better this year too. But yeah. I just don't want to play them again back-to-back years. You never know how those series go.
I do think we're heading towards the Cavs Celtics Eastern Conference Finals still. I thought that before when we talked about a month ago.
I mean, Jaylen Brown's probably going to play, they said, but if he does miss time, they are very reliant then on Porzingis stepping up and like being the superstar that he could be. I don't know if they can get to the finals without him, or not. I think, or even the Eastern Conference Finals without him. If they played if they got into a series with the Pacers or the Knicks, I think they're a lot evenly more. I think the Knicks could really. Then Porzingis is really getting his minutes, and he's having to guard Cat down low. And the Knicks have a plethora of wing guys too.
Forgot about the killer down low.
I don't know, man.
Old man Al Horford can bother any center in the league.
The Knicks have they have Josh Hart, they've got McCall Bridges, they have got some really good.
Their starting five is filth, but they got nothing.
Yeah, but I'm just saying they're very wing centric, and so that when you're missing a guy like Jaylen Brown, who is a very good wing defender, that kind of makes me question if they get paired up with the Knicks, how they fare on that regard.
They have just buried the Knicks every time they played them this year.
Oh yeah, the Knicks haven't beat the Cavs or the Celtics this year.
Yeah, or any of the top teams. I think there's too many holes. They're just too thin.
Yeah,
and they're good enough defensively. Cat does not. They have nobody to protect the paint unless they want to put Mitchell Robinson in the game, and he can't play offense. Like the Celtics will run him off the floor because they'll shoot threes all day, and he can't guard anybody on the outside there. I mean, with Pritchard, Holiday, White in the backcourt, and Jason Tatum, Porzingis, Horford in the front court, they can figure out Sam Hauser and come off the bench and shoot more threes. I mean, the Celtics without Brown, they can beat everybody but you. They will need a healthy Jaylen Brown, I think, to beat the Cavs. And I think a lot of it, who's going to win that series, will come down to if Jaylen Brown's healthy or not. Now, the West, though, you talk about wide open.
Yeah.
Unproven teams at the top two seeds, Oklahoma City and Houston. Oklahoma City, obviously, best team in the West this year all year. I had them in the finals against Boston when we talked earlier. I feel less confident about that just because of the way the elder statesmen of the West have suddenly rounded into form. Golden State, both Los Angeles teams, even Denver, they've struggled as of late, obviously, and fired Mike Malone, but they still have the best player in the world in Nikolai Jokic. So not an easy out. And that's who the Thunder's. They're either going to catch the Clippers or them in the second round. So who do you feel comes out of there? What are you looking for, especially in the first round of the playoffs here?
I mean, my ideal wet dream scenario is the Cavs Lakers. So my eyes are on both those series, but the Timberwolves Lakers, that's got superstars all over the court. With Anthony Edwards. I mean, that's the Lakers. I think should win that series. Mm-hmm. I'm hoping they do. But
they'll have the two best players on the floor every game.
Yeah. Yes. But man, I'm really looking forward to seeing, how I think the Rockets or Thunder, I could see one of those teams losing their first round game. I don't think both of those teams make it. I think one of those teams is going to lose their series in the first, because man, even Golden State there being in the play-in, whoever, if Golden, I don't want to play Golden State. The West is nasty, and we knew that a month ago, but because I really did think Golden State was going to be really good with Jimmy Butler, and I was right, but I didn't think the Clippers, I didn't think Kawhi was going to have a resurgence. I thought the Nuggets would be better. Yeah, post Malone, I don't think the Nuggets are going to be, a threat. I still think they're kind of in shambles. So I don't know who to pick. I'm leaning towards the Lakers just because they kind of have some positive energy. And Luka being able to bury his past now here with that Mavericks game. So.
Plus, the league wants them there.
Yeah.
They might get a Tim Donaghy signing out of nowhere, coming straight out of federal prison onto the court. I'm rooting for the Lakers. I'm a LeBron guy. I don't root for a team, but I root for LeBron. The Lakers T-Wolves, I think that's just a tough matchup for the T-Wolves. They just don't have the fire, like LA's firepower with Reeves, LeBron, and Luka is just so hard to overcome if you don't have it if you don't have a second real legit scorer. Now, Jaden McDaniels has made huge strides this year in Minnesota, but I just in like what who's going to guard Luka? You're going to have him guarding Luka all game. Then who's going to guard LeBron? They don't have like a great wing defenders. Gobert could do some stuff, I guess, inside because the Lakers can't unless they go super small and have like LeBron play center, which I guess they could do, and or I guess Rui or LeBron play center. And they're still, six since they have Luka, they're 6'9" across the board still, 6'8", 6'9" across the board, and they're pretty multiple. And not like Rudy's going to hurt you, and then they could maybe get him off the floor, just shoot him off the floor. But yeah, I just don't see Ant. He still hasn't taken that next step. I don't think where he can just take over a series against these two players in particular. He wasn't able to do it against Luka last year. I don't see why he'd be able to do it against Luka this year. So it'd be an interesting series. But I think LA takes that in like 6. The Clippers Nuggets series, if the Nuggets can figure it out, I do think they can make the finals, like you thought earlier this year. But they're gonna have to. It's like Ohio State versus Tennessee. If they can actually figure it out and get past there, they're a threat to win it all.
Yeah.
But that's a big if, and especially the Clippers are the hottest team in the league right now. They've won 8 in a row. They've won 18 out of their last 21. They got 2 studs in Harden and Leonard, and Ivan Zubac has been a freaking monster this year on the inside. They have Norm Powell.
Norm Powell's 6th man of the year, basically. Yeah. I mean, Pritchard's 6th man, but yeah.
Yeah, Powell starts. But they're super well-rounded and dangerous. They played Oklahoma City really close their last game, too, and like what was a really intense, like one of the best games I've watched this year, 103, 105. They ended up losing at home, but really good game. I think the Clippers win. I think we might have an all LA final, like Eastern or Western Conference Finals, which would be awesome because there's so much talent there and a lot of old heads in there with Kawhi and LeBron going back at it again like they did a decade ago in San Antonio and Miami. It's just be great basketball. I think whoever comes out of the West is going to be so beat up. The Eastern Conference champs have to have an advantage maybe.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I think for sure, because if one of those LA teams does come out of the West, Eastern Conference has home court advantage. The only way the West would have home court advantage is if the Thunder come out of it. I don't think the Rockets have a better record than the Celtics. Maybe they do. Yeah, it's interesting. If it is an I'm just really excited for these playoffs because you have so many good stories. But man, that just really pissed me off. Just thinking, I was just why it popped in my head that I watched the Mavericks game, Lakers game with Luka's return. That was really emotional, I think, all around. But they was listening to him on the podcast, and they're like, "Yeah, we kind of understand the Mavericks. They said they traded away Luka because they didn't think that he could lead them to a championship." And like they were defending, they like Doris Burke and those guys were defending. They're like, "Yeah, I could maybe see that." I'm like, he was just in the finals last year, bros. Like they were just in the finals last year. Does everybody forget that they just happened to run into one of the best teams of all time in the Celtics? And I mean, come on, they were just one piece away from probably winning something. A small piece too, like just another good guy off the bench, or something. Like a DeAndre Hunter or Norm Powell plugged into that situation would be, I don't know. Anyways, yeah, I'm really, really excited for these playoffs because the East didn't a month ago have good storylines, and now it does because like the Pacers, the Pistons, like there's these teams that have some juice to them and some youth. So I think they can kind of test some of these teams and make these series go to 5, 6, 7 games before I didn't think it was possible.
Yeah, Pistons-Knicks could be a very interesting first-round matchup. It really could because
Pistons
can't get hot enough offensively, and they are like kind of the opposite. They have the stud in Cade, but they have a bunch of guys that they can bring off the bench. They're deep, kind of the opposite of what the Knicks are.
Are they a fast-paced team?
Experience there versus a team that's pretty experienced in the Knicks with Cat and Jalen Brunson especially.
Are the Pistons like a fast-paced team? I know
fast-paced. They bomb. I mean,
I know Bickerstaff's kind of more defensive coaching too.
Yeah, they're athletic, but they're undersized in the front court with Duran and Isaiah Stewart.
Okay.
But when you got Cade, Malik Beasley's been just awesome this year, firing up threes. He could be like the Rayfair Alston against the Cavs in 2009. Like every game's basically decided on whether or not how hot he is. That's how it could go in that series. So if he goes out there and hits 5 threes a game, which he's done over stretches of games this season, then I think he finished third in the NBA in 3-pointers made this year. He could definitely like be the wild card that just ekes them past this Knicks team. That's they're not quite, I don't think, where they, like old Tibbs teams, they get tired down the stretch because they play their starters so many minutes. We haven't even talked about the Rockets yet. The 2 seed in the freaking West, young guys that are also super deep, but the inexperience, and you're right, there's a good chance they draw Golden State in the first round. That is a tough matchup, but they could, with their athleticism and length. I mean, they got Tari Eason and Jabari Smith and Amon Thompson like running around the wing, just making plays defensively. They could, old man Fred VanVleet could he have a little renaissance here against the Golden State like he did back in the day with Toronto to help them win that championship. It'd be very interesting to see. But I think once they have to play either the Lakers or T-Wolves, though, which is probably the Lakers, I think that's just – I mean, both Golden State and Los Angeles would be hard to beat.
I really don't want it to. If it is the Thunder Rockets Western Conference Finals, it really is. That would be a changing of the guard. Because you have to realize that the Thunder and Rockets have so many of the next draft picks in the next 5 years that they're only going to get better. And so if these old head teams can't beat them now, they're not going to. They're not going to next year. Like Golden State would be done. LA would be done. Both LAs could arguably be done because LeBron's only going to get worse from here on out. Like you're going to see a change in the guard. I mean, it's going to happen sooner or later. But man, I'm really hoping we have 2 more years of kind of Curry, LeBron, Kawhi, some of these guys getting a chance to crack at another one before these Thunder, like Pistons, Thunder, Rockets, Cavs, for that instance, these young teams are just going to be carrying the next 3 or 4 years.
Oh, Thunder and Rockets should both be amazing for the next 3 years.
That's a 10 in the case of the Thunder.
They could. I mean, you have to pay Shea. It's literally start paying guys, and then it becomes harder, even no matter what draft capital you have.
My man, I'm just saying, Chet's becoming so injury prone that we knew he would. That they have so many first round draft picks for the next 8 years. You could just let Chet walk if he doesn't stay healthy. Just trade him. Yeah, I'm saying so you could still pay the first round draft picks aren't paid a lot, so you could just you could get another superstar trade acquisition or just keep drafting high players. They've been drafting pretty well. So
yeah, I mean, I wouldn't hate trading Chet and a bunch of their first round draft picks for whoever the best player is at that time that you could pair with Shea. I mean, Shea.
I don't think you need to do that because they're getting kind of nice free agent acquisitions like Caruso and Hartenstein. You can kind of just draft your team and then free agency build out around them. And then, if there is a year where you're just go all in, you could do that. But I like their approach of them not really trading away everything for one guy like teams have done.
You don't have to. They got Jalen Williams and SGA. You can keep those guys around for as long as they want to be there, basically.
Yeah.
Pay those two. Everything else is win. You have all the assets to make win now moves basically every year at that point. So why not go after? I mean, I'm trying to think of somebody that would actually be attainable for Chet and some of these first round picks.
Rudy Gobert.
Well, okay, here. God, I can't believe I'm going to say this. Well, okay, if his knee isn't totally toast, Embiid?
No.
Oh man, his knee probably is toast, so he's a bad example.
I think OKC's too fast.
Harrison, you go after AD?
No, to me the Thunder are a very. I mean, are they? I think they're one of they're the highest efficiency rating offense, right? I just feel like they're very fast tempo, and they also play good defense.
Their defense.
They're good. They're a good, well-rounded team.
Their defense is efficient. Your offense, I believe, is the highest rated offense. Cavs.
Yeah. I think that had them backwards. I think they were the 8th best offense in the first defense.
Oh,
So maybe AD.
They will struggle to score in the playoffs again like they did last year.
Yeah. AD, I like that fit with AD. Embiid, I just think he's a little too slow for him.
Actually, here's an interesting matchup. If Dallas somehow ends up as the 8 seed, which they'd have to win both their games, obviously. They play the Kings first, and then they have to play the loser of Memphis and Golden State. But their Twin Towers are back finally, and that's what stuffed them last year. Was the Cat, Reed, Gobert middle is what stuffed Shea and the gang, and they couldn't shoot their way out of it last year. Could that be an upset in the first round with Dallas? I mean, if they with AD will be the best player on the court besides Shea, and if Shea can be neutralized by AD, Lively, and Gafford, he wants to drive the ball all the time. That's tough to drive into that trio.
With Kyrie, yes. No Kyrie, there's no chance in hell. I don't think they're gonna win. I don't think they're gonna win their playing game.
Spencer Dinwiddie.
I just don't think they have the scoring. You saw like they're good in like little spurts, like you saw in the Lakers game. But dude, when you have so much scoring, like the Thunder don't have a super amount of scoring, but they will have more scoring potential than the Mavericks.
They would
be able to keep up.
Clamp the Mavericks backcourt. You're right about that. Totally clamp them down. Clay would have too many 2 for 10 games and they'd be over. But it'd be interesting to see if they could if they can score. They can shut down Dallas, but if they can score against Dallas,
like we've seen with AD, really ever since 2020, he's just so passive at times. He just doesn't want to be the dominant player. It just seems like sometimes he plays like Amir Williams, and then other times he plays like the dominant person he could be. He's just so hot and cold.
All right. Easy now. He never plays like Amir Williams.
I just like mentioning Amir Williams as much as possible.
Wow. Because you like pissing me off. I get it. Yeah. But so all in all, man, I think the Lakers come out too. I think Lakers in Boston is what we're going to see. Is what I think, because the league wants it too. And the storylines would be incredible.
If Lakers Boston?
Yes. Oh, one, it's Lakers Boston. The 2 most storied franchises in the league. You have one of the a team trying to repeat and become one of the all-time great teams with a young superstar in Tatum versus maybe the one of the top 2 GOAT players, and then a guy who may be the next guy to take over the league in Luka Doncic. It just writes itself, man. I know you want the Cleveland aspect.
I don't. The only storyline with Boston would be like, ooh, repeat, but like I already consider them one of the greatest. Like that last year's team was already one of the greatest teams of all time to me. I mean, yes, I'll concede that would be a very good it'd be a good matchup, and Lakers Boston. But I hate big market teams playing each other. Give the little guy a chance. Give me Cavs Thunder before that shit.
Let's make it a triple threat: Lakers, Boston, and Dallas Cowboys. And maybe the Yankees could be in there too somehow.
Okay. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, Aaron Judge is the mop boy. He comes out, he mops up the sweat.
Yes. With a torpedo bat. Okay. Yeah. But so I got Boston winning it all again. I do think Jaylen Brown they'll give him whatever steroids or whatever he needs to be able to play. And they're just when their barrage of threes is coming in and their defense on the other end is on point, they still have the best A game in the league on both ends of the floor. So I think they win it all, but it can not much. This is one of the most wide open years I can think of.
Yes, because I could also see other than with regards to the Celtics, I can see every other team losing their first round series. I'd be surprised if the Celtics, but if the Cavs lost, if they got the Hawks or something and the inexperience bites them because they haven't won anything,
Hawks defense outside of Dyson Daniels is booty.
Yeah,
and
I'm just saying this is a wide open year, and I'm gonna pick the Cavs. I don't know. I just think that they've been really good all season long. The DeAndre Hunter trade's looking really nice. I'll do Cavs Lakers because that's what I want, and I think it could realistically happen.
All right, real quick, because man, we just talked a long time about that. This is for our boy the Dire Wolf, pouring out for him. MVP talk: Shea versus Jokic. There is no other thing. I mean, Shea's gonna win it.
The door's closed. Shea's the best player in the league.
Keep talking.
Shea's the best player in the league. The door's closed. The ship's sailed. It's Shea's award. He's the best record, the best team. I think he's the best player. Like, his game's so effing smooth. He just takes over games and it just makes it look effortless. Jokic has the most overall impact with his teammates. Okay, he lifts everybody up around him, but you take away Shea off of the Thunder, that is not a good team in my opinion. They're a decent team, but oh man, that they go from the 1 seed to, you could argue, like the 9th or 10th seed. The Nuggets are probably still maybe in the playoffs or in the play-in, but man, it's Shea's award for sure.
It's Shea's award. I'll just say this: I've always been, when it comes to the MVP and they say most valuable, I'm like, okay, the most valuable player is always the best player because he's going to have the most impact on his team for sure.
Yes.
And Jokic does have the most impact on his team, like statistically by far. His on-off is the most. I think Shea's the best all-around player this year. He plays. Now, the net ratings are affected by who's on the court with you a lot of times, and their defense is so good. But Shea's top 6 in net rating defensively, and like second offensively behind Jokic. Now, Jokic is by far the best offensive player in the league this year. Obviously, averaged the triple-double too, and is probably the GOAT offensive center besides maybe Wilt ever. But this award's always gone to a team. If a team has by far the most wins and they have a standout player, he wins it. And I think there's something you have to do. You have to be consistent about how you give out these awards. So if we've always given them out that way, we have to give it to Shea. Like, we just have to, because it has to go to somebody that's done that.
Yeah.
All right. But so there you go, Direwolf. Suck it. It's Shea's award. Jokic, you're amazing. I love you, but you're not getting another award this year. Something to aim for next year.
Don't get your coach fired, and maybe we'll give you the award.
That's true too. You can't give it to somebody whose coach got fired. And in game 80, which is just obscene. That's a whole nother podcast, but I don't pretend to understand what really happened there. Something personal is what it feels like to me. But for the Direwolf, for the Haas, Direwolf's out there trying to put up a garage door somewhere. Probably tightening the springs himself.
He keeps pulling the red cord and it keeps going down. He's like, why does this keep happening?
God damn it, Effie. But for our long lost Direwolf, for the Haas, I'm just Matt. This is the dude from C-Deck. Like, subscribe, comment. Tell us who you think is going to win the NBA Finals, and tell us why Shea's the MVP. And we will see you guys next time.
Hey, guys. Whoa, big gulps, huh? All right. Well, see you later.